I like my political space anime and slow burn thrillers as much as the next guy, but sometimes all you really need is a simple action series that doesn't take itself that seriously, but has enough consistency, planning and personal charm to it to keep you invested. And that's where Shuumatsu no Valkyrie, or Record of Ragnarok, comes in. The premise is simple. Every 1,000 years, the gods decide whether to let humanity live or wipe them out, and this time they've had enough of our self-destructive behaviour, and it's time to commit some good old-fashioned genocide, though personally this seems like a pretty extreme way to deal with climate change. However, Brunhild, the oldest of the 13 Valkyrie, proposes Ragnarok, a 1v1 tournament between man and god with 13 participants on each side to decide humanity's fate for the next 1,000 years. In other words, this is just one giant tournament arc with the stakes and powers turned to the max. One of the main strengths of this series is exactly how it handles this conflict. It's very clear from the beginning humanity has little chance in this battle, but that's not to say that they're doomed from the start. This arena is packed with people from all nations, all points of history, all in this arena to witness the outcome of Ragnarok, and humanity is united for the first time ever. There's something to be said about how this series gets across a sense of empowerment and pride through its writing and pacing to really immerse the reader and even make us believe that miracles can happen and the will of mankind can prevail in the darkest of times. After all, one of humanity's best traits is our tenacity. I can't emphasize enough how much the writing improves just about every aspect of this manga, and I'm not one to really notice this kind of thing. The figures of speech are dead accurate, and help build up feuds between contestants as we become more invested in each one. There's a short amount of time in the spotlight for each god and human, so managing to convey the correct personality and tone for the conflict in the shortest amount of time is essential, something Ragnarok easily pulls off. Clever, well thought out entrances got me hyped, and a knack for characterization through the writing fleshes out the characters, helping what could be dismissed as another wacky tournament manga have a bit of personality beyond its mythological premise. That said, I have to mention that sometimes the dialogue will be a bit jarring with memes and weird obscenities being thrown in for no reason. A lot of series have quirks like these for certain characters, so it's something I'm used to by now, but it could be off-putting for some. It's a kinda lazy and uninspired way to try and stand out, but luckily for the most part, this is chock full of great dialogue, so it's not a big problem. Dialogue setting aside, at the end of the day we're only reading this for one reason and one reason only: the fights. There's a lot of interesting combatants in this series. For one, I never thought I'd see Nikola Tesla fighting the likes of Shiva and Loki, but the fights are structured in a way that allow for a decent amount of exposition. As the fights go on and more powers are used, the manga shows how they are acquired, a good way to hype things up, especially since humans are usually the dark horse going into fights, while showing some pretty creative interpretations of the character's lore. The series plays into typical battle manga tropes most of the time, to be honest, and perhaps eventually it'll lose a bit of appeal due to its slightly repetitive structure, but for mythology buffs and general action fans it can be entertaining to see events like Adam leaving Eden and Zeus killing Kronos playing out like an episode of Yu Yu Hakusho. With fantastic art and a great atmosphere conveyed by the feelings of the crowd, it's hard not to get excited when reading this, and this is a manga I can safely recommend to any action fans out there.